Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
What's up?
Welcome to This Time It's Different TV. You are the first guest on this TTID TV.
Okay, very interesting.
How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel very interesting, sir. I feel very
You feel honored?
attractable. Yes, I feel attractable.
It's almost
and
expected,
honored.
though.
Perhaps. Real quick, when am I? You said run the proposal on the forms to fund it, friend. When am I funding? What are we funding?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. Oh, but he said get Jeff bodyguards or get us bodyguards for Miami. So we don't need them yet, but maybe later down the timeline, somebody will run a proposal for us. It seems.
Did a bunch of people? What do you call it?
Turn on your video.
Give me 1 second.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Welcome to TDID TV.
I was gonna say, so what's your general sentiment for the whole experience here? So what are you kind of thinking as far as your intentions?
For TTID TV?
Yeah.
Blockchain, entertainment, television, and news, and whatever I want.
Why would I want to use that camera? That's stupid.
There he is. Welcome, folks. This is our first episode of TTID TV. I'm here with my first guest, Jon Greenwood. How you doing today, Monsoir? He's like,
looking very good, sir. Looking very good. Overall, I'm very happy. Just moved some assets over from or doubled down on some sushi, and I got out of some weak hand positions, so had to ex sushi it up.
Yeah, Jon is a wonderful source for. He's a fountain of information in the blockchain ecosystem. And whenever I have an idea, I run it to Jon and I say, "Is this fucking possible?" And usually he says, "Well, if we did it like this." So it's helped us build a lot and get us to a pretty decent point for the position we're at. And my purpose here is to kind of, bring things down to a slower pace from what our usual work with Governor DAO is in our on the flow, ripping through the Governor DAO channels. And this can be a more of an interviewing type and conversational flow where we can relay information that we think might be important or relevant at the time. And I'm not going to do too much work to it. I'll probably just, keep it as what are they podcast type video podcasts. Who gives a shit? Yeah. Throw them up online. If they watch them, they watch them. They don't watch them, they don't watch them. So figure we can talk about some of the situations at hand with the market, and we can ask Jon how he feels about the current structure. Today the date is May 30th. Recently, we had the biggest dip that we've had in quite some time after the recent Bitcoin ath of what was the Bitcoin ath here?
58. I think
it hit 64,800.
I stand corrected. Don't even care about Bitcoin, so
yeah, we're not even we don't. So, but that's kind of just why we kind of talk about the thing of Bitcoin. Is it has like 41% dominance? Wow, it's drastically reduced over the last 6 months, huh?
Maddox picked up some. Freaking BSC's picked up a lot. ETH has picked up, some and lost some. Chainlink picked up. So I mean, there's just so much going on in the market overall, man. So much going on. I mean, right now with things going, they're going up and down, like, depending on the moment here. So I don't even know what to think. I mean,
know
our
you've recently,
charts
you've recently started talking about, you started jumping on the crypto TikTok.
yeah.
And that video you were talking about today, I saw it through your Facebook story, just probably the first little bit of it, talking about the fundamentals. And that's pretty much one of the biggest things that we can, ever talk about in getting people into understanding what the long-term value of these assets are. So
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that that's kind of like what's missing in the equation right now is that people obviously want to onboard, but the way that they're onboarding is by getting involved with shitty products, and it's because they don't have, there's no real documentation out there for this. Just like how, as a business and as a DAO, we function and kind of have to blaze the trail as we go.
Absolutely.
New people are blazing the trail as they go as well. Because there's not really any documented way. I mean, the amount of likes I got just on like, hey, Coinbase, Uniswap, MetaMask, like mind blowing. And I'm like, okay, where have you been? We use Robinhood. I'm like, oh, okay, so I get where people are coming from, and I don't fault them. It's just I mean, I'm not going to feel bad, but I'm going to try to do my best to make it so that, when one of the 9 or 8 big fish or one of the top, 23 sell and make like a huge dent, and it just falls out of the sky. I think that that's going to be something that, people are not anticipating here. So
looking out for larger wallets and kind of seeing where the whale funds are at, and the centralization of the supplies is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important.
Yeah, exactly. Assuming that, any of the top 25 wallets. Yeah, no one knows that. Yeah, no one really pays attention to that. No one pays attention to the fact they have no development team. No one pays attention to the fact that the tokenomics are pretty much bunk because they just continuously mint, So, I mean, Doge is like a hard pass for me. I played around with like $100, just to.
Because people, if people are interested in making money on something, buying and selling, it's similar to a stock.
The $100 I used to play around with, that was free money from Sushi Swap. So it's like, I can understand myself playing around with it. I don't understand why people are playing around with it actually looking for results. And that's what kind of bothers me because, like for myself, Zed Run and all these other things that are, NFT related and stuff like that, collectibles. I have $5,000 worth, and it's like, I'm not even an art guy or anything else. I've actually probably more than that by now worth.
Right.
So, the way I see it is like, these people don't even understand. Like, there's
the tools.
There's money involved, and you can make serious generational wealth. Yeah, and I mean, all the tools are here for you. So there's nothing that you're missing out on. There's nothing you need to really pay for. If you've got a bank account, you can get, to the best of my knowledge, I think even when they're under heavy load nowadays, Coinbase doesn't have wait time anymore like they used to. So I'm pretty sure, you can just get in there and pretty much go. So, the way I see it is that it's definitely the way to go with kind of getting started. People can just hop right in and use any of the different available tools that are there for them.
And the resources in the space, I understand that it can be a lot to process, but where do you think the biggest gaps are for people in like the learning bridge of understanding DeFi or tokens in general versus coming from a fiat or traditional financial mentality?
So I think that primarily what kind of happens is excuse me.
No problem.
people come over and they're used to, they're either used to like this, really cute, way of transacting that's super easy and blah blah blah. And I think that people just don't understand that that's not how
the way
crypto.
of kind of maybe the custodial wallet mentality of how when your money's in a bank and it's moving in a bank, the bank is just moving it from a file to another file, from a folder to another folder, versus as like an interbank transaction, which would be something like the transactions on the Ethereum network, where there's more of like substance moving to substance.
Yeah, I think that just in general, I mean, people don't understand that this is something that you have much more control over, and because you have much more control over it, you need to kind of be more mindful of what products are out there, etc. You have to do a little bit more work. I mean, you don't have that financial advisor of sorts to kind of sort things out for you. So, I mean, it's really a space that, people need to do their own homework in. And, there's not too much space for crazy error, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't even know how you could really make that big of a mistake.
So how do you think the comprehension, so where I think personally one of the biggest breaking points for understanding these cryptos comes in is kind of understanding the networks themselves and understanding how the chains kind of run, and understanding like what a Bitcoin chain is versus an Ethereum chain versus or the network, the Bitcoin network versus the Ethereum network, versus the Doge network, and kind of understanding how things run.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's a pretty big, learning point that can play a lot of value in kind of understanding where these transactions are happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is really important, to kind of get a read on where, when people come into this space, if they just get a general read on things, I mean, I think that they would be really surprised to see that, this is just like traditional finances, just more hands-on, but not in a way that's necessarily, not in a way where you need to do more.
I guess I think I run into that a lot, where people almost, where people almost overcomplicate their thinking process, where they're like, oh my God, blockchain, blah, like where it's like, no, it's just like, honestly, it's what you thought the internet was, Yeah,
no, for sure. I think there's just so much to be said about what the current situation is in crypto, which is really bullish. I mean, I'm looking at a token. So as I'm talking, I'm trying to buy into E Supreme right now, Ethereum Supreme, a complete, shit token with a 25% slippage, right? This is a thing right now. So it's gone up by 319% while I've been on with you. So it's like, well, okay. Common sense says I should probably do this. I mean, there's only so many things out there that make sense nowadays, and there's so many options. You can play this daily, you can play this kind of however you want, and I think you can get a lot of value out of it. So
I think kind of like setting an expectation for your like, not for you individually, but for one's expectations of what they're trying to do, and setting a goal can be, very valuable, because you'll set up into a structure where you don't really have an end game in mind, and then the thing will kind of, run out of control, and you can lose lots of value in a very short amount of time if you don't exactly have a profit strategy or take profit strategy, for example. That's just a very simple way to put it, and kind of setting your ideas of what your goals are. Because if you have your why, then the what is kind of like it's a mutable kind of variable. And so that's like kind of, if you're expecting to set into something like, like you're saying, like a shitcoin right now, you'll probably take profit at a certain amount of time. Do you have do you have a strategy that you kind of stick to for your take profits, or anything that might be valuable to somebody who's trying to, jump into tradings?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's actually kind of funny you say that, because just as we've talked recently, I just threw 0.2 at an absolute shitcoin, right? But
Right.
now, but now I'm looking at my entry point. Let's see, so 0.1708. Yeah. Okay, so 0.2. Let's go here. Add that position. Okay, so there's a bunch more buys after that. I mean, these buy points are unbelievable right now. We're going up by 400 or 500% in a couple minutes. So let's see. Let me turn this around and see what this looks like now. So Supreme. Let's go here. Stupid thing. Max. So 0.16. Allow the Uniswap protocol to use your. What the heck? $2.06. Yeah, confirm. Yeah, so like on something like this, it's crazy because so I just played around and initially lost 1/4 my value, right? Because that's how this token works. But like I said, as I'm watching it skyrocket over here in value, it's like, it's funny to think of how many possibilities there are for people to get involved with all of these tools, and companies like our own are making it more and more viable by the day to, take to make profit. So this past bull run, I think there was a lot of people that didn't necessarily take profit in the ways that they should have, yourself included, myself included, right? So it was pretty sad actually to see that, there was a lot of hard work and a lot of effort, and not all of it like paid off physically, right? In dividends, I should say. So, I think that going forward, my new rule of thumb is that when I pay off my initial, so if I go into something like right here with 0.2 ETH, right, I'm going to play this out. I'm going to make my 0.2 back. I'm going to go beyond that so that I keep something, kind of in the coffer, in this game. Because, I mean, you never know with these things. Sometimes, like right now, this is the #1 trending, right? So this is a great possible entry, on this particular token. It came out an hour and a half ago. So the way I see it is that there's a lot of potential here on all of these different, financial structures. It doesn't matter if you're day trading shit tokens or if you're, getting into real financial assets that have value and utility, like GDAO, So
What are some of your some of the things you recommend for people that are, let's say somebody didn't want to buy tokens, but they were totally okay with, putting $50,000 into stable coins. How would you kind of go about?
So that's actually what's really funny, because I was just, you're actually reading my mind here, because I was just talking to one of our team members about this, and he's a little bit newer in the space, but he wants to put some cash in. So, I'm saying to myself, well, the way that I do things, the way that I recommend doing things, especially in these turbulent markets, it can all be done with stable coins, so the yield that, people like Cody was chasing on specific assets, you can guarantee that yield from day one, and build upon that. So, if you're looking to get yourself substantiated in Link, for instance, Chainlink, but you don't want to spend any money, you can tie up X amount of dollars. So let's say 10 grand. You tie up 10 grand into Sushi Swap. You're gonna loan it and then yield it. So you'll make 6% roughly off of the 10 grand per year, and then you'll make an additional like 20 to 40% on the actual yield itself in Sushi per year. So you would just take that, and then personally I would put it into X Sushi.
So you're getting paid back. You're getting paid 6% in USDC or whatever, and then you're getting Sushi.
Yeah, you're getting paid 6. Yep. And
so you're making a base of the 6% in cash straight up, and now you're coming back around. You're earning additional percents in Sushi. Just so we can clarify.
Sushi's undervalued, but Sushi's undervalued by 4 to 6 times. In my opinion.
Right.
So I think that you're looking at an asset that does much more than Uniswap. Uniswap's V3 is basically a joke at this moment in time, at least. Sushi Swap has much more viability.
Literally,
so so the fact remains here that basically the current situation for me, at least, is that you can get in with just stable, rock the stable out. When you're done, pull your stable. The worst case scenario is on Sushi Swap. I think on some pairs it's 1%. So for every 1,000 you'd lose $10. Crazy. So and that would it would offset that though in the earnings. So you're not going to lose anything ever, unless you keep it in the game for. I mean, you could put $1,000 in for a week and break even on your gas fees. So, there's no real reason here why people shouldn't be doing it. Or I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do. But that's what I was trying to do is, enter the crypto space. That's what I'd be getting involved with, because right now with the viability of Sushi Swap and the opportunities that they have, I mean, it's definitely something that I'd be looking at.
I think that's a really good point to make, especially because we want to keep people while the markets you're not sure up or down, right? And we're not sure, like it's kangaroo, right? That bullshit. But you want to be able to give people the option to have some your stables are farming. And that's kind of an idea I want to kind of perpetuate into my own models, is kind of keeping a percent of mine in stables. So those stables can be earning interest, so that I can also have chips for dips, right? When market goes down, you can make some really good money. Chainlink hits $15, bounces back to 30 the next day after, crashing from 55. That dead cat bounce, you need to get that. That could be really easy opportunities. And if you're not taking, people are dollar cost averaging in, DCAing in, they're not DCAing out, right? So that's something that I'm going to be structuring into my models now, and keeping an extra emphasis on take profit models.
This token's a sharding token. No way. It's paying me more in the token as people sell. Yeah, I know that. Like I've dealt with I've dealt with a couple of these tokens so far, and this is just like this case is mind blowing to me. Like like I said, the tech that's out there, the availability of this stuff that is out there for people to use. There's just no reason not to be making.
If you were going to attempt to simplify the idea of smart contracts, how would you do that?
Exactly how it sounds. I mean, you've got just like if you had a rental contract, you'd have a paper contract written that says on the first of the month you pay me $600, right? A smart contract would do that automatically. So on the blockchain, for instance, on the first of the month, it would automatically draw $600 out of your account. You'd have the permissions to set it up, to cancel it, etc.
Or the reverse way, like right? Of paying someone.
Or the reverse way. Yeah. So you could be receiving payments, you could be making payments. I mean, that's
something I like to. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's something I like to pitch at people. Is when we were kind of growing up, the idea that when they were convinced us, the robots they're coming, they had us convinced that they were coming for the labor force, right? But in all reality, The robots are coming for the financial forces, and Kathy in accounting hitting equal sign on your paycheck and then sending you your paycheck every week. That's going to be something that's dripped through a contract, like he was saying, where you could literally pay someone $600 a month or $600 a week, and you could set that contract up for 10 years, and it would drip out every single second. There would be more available in the account.
Yeah,
for every block.
So even right now, so this is a perfect example with this asset I just got into, eSupreme, right? So once again, I don't endorse this asset at all, but the way that it works is by paying dividends out to holders. So if you consistently hold, it has a liquidity function where, basically if you're holding on to the token continuously, as people sell, 25% of their slippage is, what they're selling. So, I mean, there's a lot of, viability of getting in and out of these assets. And I think that if you take advantage of it, you can really, 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 do well in this field. The smart contracts, they pretty much dominate this entire
ecosystem.
Yeah, the entire ecosystem. That's how all of this works, and that's why between that and what they call safe math, which is a type of math used specifically in contract language, it runs variability testing on the numbers before it's actually executed in real time. So I mean, this is actually technology that I would argue in some cases is safer than what some banks use. So I mean, it's really hard to say where the future of where people are going to be getting in and where people are going to be getting out of this stuff. But I think that right now is the time to be getting involved. And we're at a kind of a terminal point here where you can really get your feet wet right now for nearly nothing and get your hands on some blue chips. So, I think that that's something that's really viable. And, I wouldn't want to see people lose out on that opportunity.
So where do you see, all right, so in the last year, I believe last year was something like 6% of Americans held crypto, and now it's something like 14 or 15. How many people do you think will be holding crypto in 10 years?
Yeah, so
some sort of encrypted currency.
Yeah, so to answer that question, in reality, I think that the amount of people that will hold encrypted currency in 10 years will probably surpass well over 50% of the population of the world. So
I was gonna say everyone.
Well, I don't think that that's feasible because of some basic strategies, but beyond that,
does 100% of the world have currency? I guess that's not even a out of the world that has currency. What percent do you think will have encrypted currency in 10 years?
Let's see. I mean, so wait, I've said it one more time.
Out of the percentage of people in the world who use currency or have some sort of fiat currency now, what percentage of these people, if now it's at 14 or 15% up last year from 6%, how many in 10 years do you think will be using encrypted currency? Or I guess that's US citizens, huh? But still.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a really kind of difficult question to answer because there's so many
variables.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even really answer that in good faith, really. So, yeah, I don't want to really even spitball that because there's so many variables on that. But I think that global adoption bottom line is going to be rather large.
At a tipping point.
So, yeah, you know, I think that, you know, you're going to see a point real soon where companies and you know, in general, just entities are going to be more and more involved with, you know, cryptocurrency, because they're going to need to, you know, for a whole host of reasons. So, you know, currently we're in a space where people aren't necessarily, you know, capitalizing on this stuff, and they're not able to, because that's not something that their, you know, their banking institution necessarily allows them, etc. But
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, with these as new technologies come on, I mean, there's so many variables there, because, you know, for instance, like I literally got myself a place with Ethereum. I mean, that's not something that was viable even a few years ago, you know. So who's at the door now?
Yeah, no problem. What
do you think I'll get robbed on live?
I don't think so.
What's up, Warren? It's just my neighbor. Oh yeah, they're all done, brother. I put them out next to the dryer. Yeah, no problem, man. But yeah, I mean, we could definitely pick this up whenever, dude.
Yeah. This has been good. I'm just starting to. I'm gonna try this. Start interviewing people. Just start asking them questions, and then give out the info. Might as well, especially if there's things to talk about.
Yeah, like I said, between like TikTok and all this other, I just want to make a little bit more of a splash with it, because the way I say it is that why not be a little bit more informational with it?
Share the knowledge we got, and it'll come back to us. All right. So that is
for sure
the first episode of TTID TV. This time it's different television. And I thank Jon Greenwood for being with us here today. And
absolutely, brother. Hopefully next time more formally. You know, I was thinking about.
I think I'm gonna do them surprise interviews. Just surprise.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about winding down for the night, and I'm like, oh, Cody.
Cody sent me a Zoom link.
And then I got on there because I figured it was something, you know.
It was probably going to be nothing. Hey, man, this time it's different, you know?
Of course. It's always different with you, brother.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, friend.
All right. Have a good one, bro. Bye.